If anyone needs a stapler, I have one here.
So, did you watch the Gator whole Super Bowl yesterday?
I did.
I did too. I'm not like I wasn't interested in it.
These are pretty good. I don't get that.
Yeah, I did.
Did you notice that?
No, I think. Well, I saw something. I was like, well, that's weird. No, I didn't.
Okay, so the purpose of today's lecture, or really today, is to give you guys, hopefully at this point you feel like you're prepared going into the exam. You know what is covered. We've covered 2.1 through 2.5. So there's going to be 5 sections. They'll be about equally weighted. So about 20% of the test will be from section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5. So I tried to distribute the points in that manner. So if anyone has any questions over specific homework problems, I know you have the answers in the back of the book, and purposely assign those so that you can get feedback, that instant feedback, because by the time I grade it, you guys are already going to be taking the test, right? I won't have time to get this back to you before the test. So the purpose of your homework is to give you that trial run. Could you do this type of problem on the test? And then you have the answer to say, yes, I understand this, or wait, I did not get the same answer, so I need to go back and figure out what I did wrong instead of just writing the right answer down. So does anyone have any questions over the homework? Yeah.
So just to kind of kick it off, section 2.4 on the homework, like 13 and 15, I was having a little trouble with. But just with section B, because I understood section A, I just didn't get B at all. I didn't understand how they got the answer. On 13 on section 2.4.
Okay, 2.413. So of the 50 largest cities in the United States, 11 have, is that the correct question? Mm-hmm. Okay. 11 have teams in the National Baseball Association, but not the Major League Baseball teams. So it looks like this is it goes on 2 pages, so it's a little annoying, but
they took them and added what was already there and added the other 9 to it.
So on, this is like exercise 13 with the sports team diagram. So it's asking, let's see what we have here. "12 have neither. How many cities have both Major League Baseball team and teams in the NBA?" And then part 2.
Yeah, like part 2 was like.
These cities have, how many teams are there in each league?
Because the answers in the back of the book, I just didn't understand how they got.
Okay, so on your Venn diagram, we have Major League and Minor League.
Yeah. Well, Major League Baseball and then
Basketball and baseball.
Oh,
yeah, basketball, baseball.
okay. NBA and all right. So going back to page 12, what did it say? 11 teams have the National Basketball Association, but not the Major League Baseball team. So 11 teams would be here, right? What else does it say? Wrong page.
And 12 have neither.
12 have neither.
And there's 50 total.
So we have 11 teams. We have 9. Okay, so this would be 9. This would be 12. This would be 50. So what would be the intersection? 18. So 18 plus 9 plus 11 plus 12 should be 50. Did anyone else get that? Okay, so,
How did we get 18?
well, the total of these 4 regions have to add up to 50.
Oh, okay.
So if we go to the calculator and we take 50 minus 9 minus the 11 minus the 12, we get 18. So part 2 asks, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles have 2 baseball teams, but Los Angeles is the only city with 2 basketball teams. Each of these cities have teams in both league. How many teams are there in each league? Have 2 baseball teams. Okay, so Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles have 2 baseball teams. So within this circle, there's 3 extra baseball teams that aren't listed.
Okay.
Because these are only the states, not the teams.
Okay.
Right? So there's 18 plus 9. So 27. If I did that correctly. 27 Major League Baseball teams, right? 27. But this is 27 states. And out of these 3 states, they have 2 baseball teams each.
So there's 3. Okay.
So plus 3 more there.
Okay, that's fine.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't have the one I didn't include in the middle. That's right.
Yeah, because this has to do with how many states have baseball teams, but we don't count the states more than once.
Okay.
Any other questions? You had one? On the same section, 2.50
15, yeah, same section.
or 15? 15, okay. Marketing firm is hired to conduct research, listing habits of drivers in large urban areas. The first day, we have 121 drivers surveyed. 26 listened to FM radio while driving. 4 of whom listened to only FM. So here, if we have FM, is this going to be a AM and satellite? Okay, so 26 listened to FM while driving. 4 of them only listened to FM. So we know goes 4 here, and we know 26 is this whole circle.
Yes.
Right? 8 more listened to FM than AM only. So 8 more listened to FM than, does it say 8 more? 4 of whom listened to only FM.
FM and AM only.
Gotcha. 8 of them listened to FM and 8 more listened to FM and AM only. So FM and AM only would be this region here, and 8 more listened to that. So that would be 12.
Yeah.
While 4 listened to FM and satellite only. While 4 listened to FM and satellite only. So FM and satellite only would be 4 here. There were 6 that listened to only AM. So that would be that region. 22 that listened to only satellite. And 69 that listened to at least one of the 3. At least one of the 3. So the 69 that listened to at least one of the 3.
But it's I'm 121 drivers. So
121.
people didn't listen to it, or is that outside?
And 69 that listened to at least one of the 3. One of the 3,
Wouldn't it be in the middle?
it would be the sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be everything. It would be the sum of everything except the outside.
Okay.
Right? So what do we have here?
That's what.
AM and satellite, there are 6 What did we have about AM and satellite? 8 more listen to FM and AM only, while 4 listen to FM and satellite only. FM and satellite only. There were 6 that listened to only AM. So we know that there's 26 in this circle here. So now we got to extrapolate the data. If there's 26 in this whole circle, then 26 minus 4 minus 4 minus 12 is 6. So I know that there's 6 here. Then I don't know how much this is, but I know 69 of them listen to at least one of the 3. So 69 minus 121 would be X. If I add up these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regions, I'm going to get 69. So I can find this missing region, then I can find, right? So 69, oops, 121 minus 69, 52. So 52 didn't listen to anything. So if then you do 69 minus 6 minus 12 minus 4 minus 4 minus 6 minus 22, it should give you 15. So let's say 15. And then if you check 4 plus 12 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 15 plus 22 plus 52 is 121. So you're going to have to fill in the blanks of what you know, be able to extrapolate anything that's on here, and then come up with, are there more people who listen to satellite radio or more who listen to none of the 3 types surveyed? So if you add up the circle and satellite radio, is that more than 52?
Is that a 15?
It's a 15, yeah, sorry.
I had the numbers 8 and 10 in my intersections to, well, where you have your 12 and 6,
Mm-hmm.
I had 8 and 10.
Oh,
No, yeah, those in the intersection are 12 and 6.
you had 8
I had 8 and 10.
and 10. You have 8 here
Uh-huh,
and 10 here.
yeah.
18. So let's go back to, we know there's 121 drivers. 26 listen to FM radio while driving. So the sum of that's 26. So 8 and 10 wouldn't affect that. 4 of whom listen to only FM. So we put a 4 here. 8 more listen to FM and AM only.
So is that 8 more?
You know, that's
Or is that just 8?
8 more, while 4 listened, 6 listened, 8 more listened to FM and AM only. The interpretation on that, the wording, could go both ways. Well, I could say 8 more listen to FM and AM only, or 8 listen to it. I don't know why they use the word more there.
Because it would have come out, if it was 10 or 8, it
Mhm.
would still.
It would be the same. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't mess that up. So that's interpretation. Is it saying 8 more listen to FM and AM only, or 8 listen to AM? Why would they use the word more if it wasn't saying 8 more than?
Are you gonna have
No.
more on the test?
No. What does the back of the book give you?
Diagram?
The diagram, or just gives you the
No,
answers?
just the answer.
Let's see. I have the answers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the answer.
Yeah,
52
well-
listen to none, and 51 listen to satellite.
Let's see if I can look at. Third edition. This is chapter 2.4. Let's see what this has. So it's 15. All right, yeah. Oops, did I go too far? I have reference to where I'm at. Oh wait, too far. 2-4. Okay, 2-4, number 15. 10, 12, 15. Let's see if they have a diagram. Looks like they're using 8 and 10. Since 8 people listen to FM and AM only. Yeah. However, I don't think it affects the answers by changing those two by subtracting. So you still get they don't have the Venn diagram filled in, but so if you interpret that as 8 more of them listen to that, while 4 more listen to that, while 6 more and 22 more, it would have made sense if they used or the word more consistently, if they use it on everyone or they just didn't use it on that one. So in college algebra, it's typical that they'll put like, there's a number x that equals to 4 more than 2 times x. You guys, that? So then you would have like x equals 2 times x minus 4 or something along those lines. I don't know why they use the word more there, but so it's looking that it should be 8 and 10 with the same process. Something like that ever happened on a test where there's interpretation, you can come up to me and we can talk about it and I'll take that into account. Any other questions on homework?
Not a specific question, but
Okay.
I'm having a hard time with the Venn diagrams, like where it's got the A naught or the B naught.
The shading of it?
Yeah, that kind of throws me off.
Yeah. On your exam, your Venn diagrams will look something like this. Let's look at an example of a 3 Venn diagram. So if I'm going to put in numbers instead of Roman numerals, just so numbers are a little easier to write for people than Roman numerals. If I had like A, B, C, if I had A union B not, and I wanted you to shade that, I'm going to also have A union B not and have you list the set of numbers that includes that. So they'll be on shading, they'll kind of be 2 ways to write your answer.
Well, on that, it includes everything that isn't an A or B, like 7, but also includes 8 because 8 is not an A and B, right?
Correct, yeah. So your answer here would be 7 and 8. And if you go to shade it, you would think, oh, I'm shading everything that's A union B and then everything outside of that. So really, I wouldn't want to shade A union B. I want to shade everything outside of A union B. But if I went A intersection B not, that's a different story. A intersection B not would be everything that's here that's shaded. So
Except for where they intersect.
Exactly.
Now, what if you have it on the inside of the parentheses, like A intersection B not?
That's a good question. So if I had A intersection B not, that's everything that intersects with A, and that's also not in B. So it'd only be this region here. A intersection with everything that's not in B.
Okay, so you just shade in everything that's in A and not also in B.
Correct.
Okay.
But if I had A union B not, it's a little bit of a different story because it's everything in A and everything not in B. So I would shade what I have in A, but I'd also shade 7 and 8. Because this is union, and 7 and 8 are not in B.
Right, but they're not in A.
But it doesn't matter. Union is it in A or is it not in B?
What if you had
So union, remember you shade everything that's included. Anything that's shaded. Intersection is overlap.
Right, but I thought it was only
It's
those
that,
two.
but it's not in B. 7 is not in B and 8 is not in B, so that's included in this side.
Okay. So everything except for what's in B.
Everything that's except for what's in B, yeah.
Okay.
But some students would try to argue and they would try to shade 2 and 5 because it's in A, but you can't.
Because
Oh,
it's in B.
sorry. You would shade 2 and 5 here. Sorry. You would shade 2 and 5 here. And that's a common mistake students do with union. They think, oh, I'm going to shade everything that's in A and not in B, and then everything that's not in B. But this is in A. So 2 and 5 would be shaded.
Right, but
So
it's
that's,
in B.
I know, that's why students get upset here. And I try to, union is anything that meets this condition or this condition. It's not the and. It's not the overlap. It's the or. Right?
How is C included though?
Because it's not in B. So you tell me a region that I've shaded and I'll tell you why I included it. I include A because it's not in B. I include 5 because it's in A.
Even though it's not a union?
It is union. That's what I'm trying to stress. With union, sometimes students will think, oh, I'm going to shade everything that's not in A, or everything that's in A that's not B, and everything that's not in B, but you have to be careful. This is in A, so I count it.
Because people think it's in B,
So
so it's
People
all-
think it's in B and they see this not, and they think, whoa, I'm not shading anything that's in B. But it's in A, so I
you
need
have
to shade it because it's
everything that's in
union.
A, everything that's in C.
Well, you have to shade
Except
everything that's
for-
in A and everything that's not in B.
Not in B.
But don't take it out if it's union, if it's in B, because it still gets shaded, because that's what union means. Union means if it's on the left, you shade it. If it's on the right, you shade it. If it's in A, you shade it. If it's in not B, you shade it.
But you don't shade 6.
You wouldn't shade, would you shade 6? You wouldn't shade
'cause
6
it's not in A.
because it's not in A and it's not, and it's in B. Right? We wouldn't shade, ugh. We wouldn't shade 3 and 6 because
They're both in B.
they're both in B.
Here's one that kind of confused me, like B union C, both in parentheses, and then
B union C,
not.
union C not. This?
Yeah. No, A, it's B union C,
Oh, sorry.
B union C, and then union C not.
B
So,
union C not.
Yeah, so
So I'm guessing this is a 3 one. So
It's just-
1,
yeah.
2,
B
3.
it's one of the ones in the book. That
B,
I can get
C.
the answer in the back, but obviously it doesn't help.
Yeah, of course, because you're not going to have the back on the exam, right? And I could easily put something like this. So B union C. So this is a union, right? So if I have B union C, I'm going to shade B union C, and then I'm going to shade everything outside of C, and that's going to be my answer because it's union. If it was intersection, I would have to shade only where they overlap, right? So here, I might be quick at shading B union C. So where does B and C union? So that's going to be
Everything in B and everything in C, right?
everything in B and everything in C.
Even where it touches A.
Get that by A, right?
Yes,
Okay, good.
right? So do you see that?
Yeah.
All of it, all of B, all of C.
All of B, all of C, yes.
Unionization.
Not C. What are
erase.
things? No, we're not erasing anything because it's a union. And union is anything shaded. So not C, I would shade everything outside of here. But the union answer would be everything is shaded. If the intersection, if it was very similar to this, if the question was B union C intersection C not, then it would only be the green.
Okay, so
But it's union, so it's everything that's shaded.
even though it says not.
Union colored all.
Yes,
Not
Colored.
or not.
yes.
Colored all.
But color the not C. So
So you would color like everything else too.
it would be everything. So the answer here, if I would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So B union C not, you would write this at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
All the regions are shaded because they make the condition that they're in B union C or they're not in C. Question.
Can we, okay, can we, on the pretest,
Mhm.
on number 7, I went to the tutoring center
Yes.
to get help with that,
Yes.
and they were thinking that there might have been a typo on that one.
And it's possible, but let's look at it. So we have B union or A union B not. So we're A in, so if I shade in A and I shade not B, that would be this area here. And I want to see where does that intersect with C? That would be the right answer at 4 and 7. A, let me double check that again. A union not B. So everything in A union not B. So this is all shaded. Then I need to shade what overlaps with being in C. So that would be 3, 4, and 7. Is that A union not B intersection with C? A union not B intersection with C. So this is the same set. A intersect with C. So where does A and C intersect? That would be 3 and 4. And where does B not intersect with C? Not B intersect with C. That would be, oops, this region, not B intersect with C. And then the union. So these two are the same. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so does anyone have any questions on the right-hand side one? That one's correct, where I have A intersects C. So where does A and C intersect? That intersects at 3 and 4. And where does not B and C intersect? Not B and C intersect. This is not B and C, and this is not B and C. And then the union of it is anything that's shaded. So 3, 4, and 7 would be the union of those two sets. Over here,
That one's right though, isn't it, on the left?
oh yes, sorry.
On the left, they thought maybe that's what a typo.
Yeah, so they think 3 needs to be included.
They thought 3 should not be included.
Well, 3's, oh, they think 3 shouldn't be included here on
No,
the,
on the left.
The answer's not
That's the
equal.
tutor.
Oh.
Teacher with,
okay, so let's go back and see this. A intersect with C, right? I'm going to shade that. Do you guys believe this is A intersect with C? Right? 3 and 4? That's A intersect with C.
Yes.
Not B intersect with C. So this is everything that's not in B intersecting with things that are in C. So 4 is not in B and 7 is not in B, right?
Yeah.
So now the answer is the union. So anything that's shaded, right, that's union. So anything that's shaded is my answer. So 3, 4, and 7 is my answer there.
right, they didn't think that.
And they
You're saying
think
that they are equal, or you're saying they're not equal?
that's what I had conclusion here, but let's see if 3 is in this set. A union not B. So everything that's in A
Not in B,
and not in B, right?
the whole thing.
And then I see where that intersects with C. So this would intersect with C, so that these would be the same sets, 3, 4. So this should have a 3 here. 3, 4, and 7.
So the answer is there.
The answer is that they are equal. So if you had said A union not B intersect with C, that's the same thing as saying A intersects with C union not B intersect with C. Now, the problem probably came here. This is where a common mistake is made. This A union not B. So I shade everything that's in A, and then I shade everything that's not in B, because union is separately. So then how does that intersect with C? So everything that would be and C would be shaded. So everything that's shaded twice, since it's an intersection, would be 3, 4, and 7. So these
But
are the
three's
same
not
set.
shaded twice.
3 is shaded twice because A union not B is everything in A and everything not in B.
So if we bring different colors.
Yeah, that's fine. So your answer here, you're gonna write
Oh,
the set
what
out.
the sets
So
are.
the
Gotcha.
shading is not going to be where I grade your work necessarily.
Just to help you.
It's to help me kind of see, do you understand? I can say, oh, they're doing a union there, or oh, they're doing an intersection, so they get some points, but they don't get the whole point. Versus if you wrote the answer 3, 4, 7, or if you write the answer 3, 4, 7, then I'm going to say, okay, you understand what you're doing, and your shading can be a little crazy.
It just threw me off because you have the black on there too, so I was.
Yeah,
kinda-
that was
yeah.
the answer key, but yeah, that needs
I
to be
see.
fixed.
And you
I'll
had the yellow
upload
and the green.
that with that shaded saying that they are equal.
Yeah.
That was a good catch. Any other questions? So here's a key thing that will probably come up on the exam since we've gone over it a lot. If I have A union not B, and this is A and this is B. A union not B would be
It includes
this.
Everything in A and the outside.
Everything in A and everything not in B. All right. So a common mistake here is to forget this part.
So
This
would
is
the-
still in there.
Would the safe bet be to do the not first?
Um,
You do B not, you shade all that, and then you're like, I'll do A, and then you go.
Yeah,
A.
either or. You could just say, okay, I'm going to shade an A
Mhm.
because it's union. So be careful with union and intersection too, because A intersection B not is different.
Just the middle part.
This would be A. No, it wouldn't be the middle
Just be A.
part. It would just be this part
The
here.
outside.
Yeah. Where does that intersect with not B? So this would be everything that's in A that intersects with everything that's not in B. Here, this is everything in A, including everything outside of B.
Can you mark number 6?
On the what section?
Practice test?
On the practice test?
Or do we still look at- Oh, yeah, I got
Do you have any questions on it?
it. No, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, sorry, because these are numbers 1, 2, and 4.
But for some
Okay.
reason, I thought the next one, the whole. Four was included. So why is 4 not, like, if you're labeling it 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one is on the right side? The one that's got the square.
Yeah,
Why is 1 not included?
here. Because just like I was talking about before, this is A intersection, not
Like
B.
there's a
Right? So it has to be an A and not in B at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, I know, right?
All right, so just kind of hit this again. We didn't get to this on the day we did kind of the pre-test. Be careful with like questions like this because sometimes students will write out the set and they'll forget what it's actually asking. This is the number of, yeah, this is the cardinality. This is the number of elements in that set. So you might have to find it before you can kind of find the answer, or know A union B is this shaded region. So if I count how many elements are in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I get my answer is 7. But I've given this test before and students will write this and be done with it and not quite get the point I'm asking for, the cardinality of that set. Same thing here. Number of elements that are in not B intersection with A. That would just be this region here. Do you see how this kind of, they're all kind of asking the same things, just asking it a little differently?
Okay, what is the equals 3?
Equals 3, that's the answer. There's 3 elements that is in not B intersection with A. It is Q, R, and S.
Would it not be the X and why would we not put the X and Y in there? Just
Because again,
They're not an A.
they're not in A. Because this is the intersection of A and not B.
because it's not the universe, it's the intersection.
It's the intersection, yeah.
And then instead of just putting equals 3, how can you put QSR? though?
Because I didn't ask you what the set looks like. If I ask you something like this, that's asking you what the set looks like. Did the sign-in sheet go around? Okay. Did anyone not get it?
I didn't get it.
So yeah, if I ask you what is A intersection B, that's asking you to write the set. If I ask you what are the number of elements in a set, that would just be the answer.
So if you're just wanting, if you just ask how many are in, or
Yeah.
how many elements are there? You
Yeah.
just want a number.
Yes. If you see something like this, the answer is just a number. If you see something like this, the answer is a set. You want to write that however that is. Behind you for the sign-in
So if
sheet.
the N is on the outside, you just want a number.
Yes.
Okay.
That means the number of elements. So the example here, this might be something that comes up where we're done with the pictures and we're actually into an example where we have the universe, we have set A, set B, and set C, and we're asked for A union C, B intersection A, not B, and then you have the difference and you have the product. But that should be pretty straightforward how to write those. Those are all set. So you want to also put your set notation, your brackets. Those are important.
What number is that?
Number 9. And then the last one, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about this one. We went over a little bit. If you work backwards up, it's a little bit easier to see. If I have onions, ketchup, and mustard, and I know 5 people like all 3, right? I know 5 goes there. 25 more people, no, I'm just teasing. I won't use that. 25 people had onions, ketchup, had just onions and ketchup. So onions and ketchup, where that overlaps, is going to be 25. So if you know this is 5, you know this is 20. All right, working your way outward. I don't know. Some of the questions, how many people were surveyed? Well, I told you 100, right? Woohoo. So some of it is just right there. Don't be intimidated by like, oh, I have to do something crazy. You will be having, you'll have missing elements. You'll have to plug in something. I might not tell you how many people were surveyed and tell you everything else.
Oh, no, we like that.
Right? Or I might not tell you how many people like onions, mustard, and ketchup. And you know everything else. So if you know everything else, so things to keep in mind here, the sum of this circle here, the sum, this is how many people like onions, right? 5 of them like only onions. This number tells you how many like only onions. These 2 numbers tell you how many like onions and mustard, right? These 2 numbers tell you how many people like onions and ketchup.
I was just making sure that I wasn't going to study it one way and then like if the exam and there's going to be like 40 different things I have to find working from one problem.
Oh, so yeah, the thing in algebra is you have to have for 2 equations you can solve 1 unknown. So there's I can't just say 5 people like hamburgers, do the rest. It's impossible, right? There are some like Sudoku puzzles and stuff where you use that logic to say, okay, I give you enough to say that you know that there has to be a 1 in this row or the 1 in this column, and then you kind of have to fit around the puzzle. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, you might have this missing, and this missing, and you have to fill that in from the numbers, but you will know how many's in this big circle. So if you know how many's in this big circle, then you can find out how many's here by adding these 4 regions up. It's where it comes from, except these just, you know, sometimes you could care less how many onions, ketchup, mustard, whatnot. But it's what it is. It's just a pattern. You got to fill in the blank from the missing number. Question?
If we make a mathematical error
Mm-hmm.
on that, but we get it right as far as like answering the questions based on our mathematical error.
That's a good question. Yeah. Yeah. So you get a point for every region and a point for the answer. So if you have the point in the region wrong, you'll miss that point. But if your answer is right based on your region, you'll get that point. So if you see here, how many of them only like 1 topping? If you would have had a 6 here for mustard and you would have had 5 plus 6 plus 10, and you would have had 21, I would have given you the points there because I can see from the diagram you understand the answer, you just didn't have the right diagram.
Right.
Yeah.
do you want us to write out the 10 plus 5 plus 5?
That is beneficial, so I can see kind of where it comes from. If you just write an answer and it's wrong, I don't really have much to go off of. I can't see, oh, you understood the region.
The more we write down, the better.
The more you write down, the better you're off, because I can give partial credit. On a 10-point problem, if you have the wrong answer, you lose 10 points. I have nowhere else to say, oh, I can give you a point for this. Because that's kind of the point, is you're showing me your work, so I can say, okay, you understood it to this point. You understood 50% of it. On a 10-point problem, that's 5 points versus minus 10.
Can you go back to number 8, B?
So 8D, use the Venn diagram for the following. Not A, union not B. So what that means is everything that's not in A, so I would shade these things, right? I'm just going to shade the letters. And everything that's not in B. Well, this is not in B, this is not in B, and this is not in B. Since I use the union, I'll go ahead and shade these too. Since I use the union, it's anything that's shaded. If it was A not intersection B not, it would only be the thing that's shaded twice. It would only be the X and the Y. So yeah, you have to have a good hold on what a union is and what an intersection is. This is union, so I list everything that's not in A, and then I list everything that's not in B. So X, Y, B, and W is not in A, and Q, S, R is not in B. The union means I list them all. If it was intersection, I would only list X and Y. But this pretest is pretty good size length distribution. The only thing that's not on here is 2.5. And we talked about how to get that general term and know if a set is infinite or not. You have to have a one-to-one correspondence to a subset of that set, right?
Will 2.5 be on the final?
Everything will be on the final that we cover in class. 2.5 will be on this test. So we have 4 tests in this class, so each one will be about 25% of the final. So this would be 15% of your overall grade, this test here, and the final will be 25% of your overall grade, but it can replace, yes. So if you haven't turned in your homework, I'll collect that now. That's 3.7% of your overall grade, because each section is 15% of your overall. All your homework together is 15% of your overall grade. So it's kind of like a little meter, you know, if you can kind of keep it getting fuller and fuller, that's kind of where you locked into your grade. So this is 15%, that's going to bring you up to where you need to be. So by the end, you'll know what grade you have going into the final. All right, I'll click the homework there. There's a stapler up here if you need it.
You have like a bracket of